All right, we've got a no heat call. Top floor air handler seems to be making noise, possibly needs a fan motor, so let's go in here and check it out. All right, let's see here. Looks like a 2-ton. That's going to be the original air handler for this house. It's got a little bit of age on it. Let's open it up. All right. We had a helicopter customer here. The lady's son, of course, telling me his life story and how he's some kind of contractor or whatever. Anyway, so wasn't able to get much footage. So fan won't come on. Probably gonna need a fan motor, but I went ahead and checked this capacitor first, and it's reading 325, 326, and of course it's a 5. So I'm gonna try this new one first and see if it'll start the motor. So when I jumped out the fan leads up here, the red and green there, that one's 496. So when I jumped out the red and green up here, the motor tried to come on and was humming, of course. So I gave it a spin and it started, which, you know, if I had my ruthers, I'll go ahead and put a motor on it, but just based on age and whatnot. But I'm gonna try this just to see if it starts it, and if it does, we'll let them try to get a little more life out of it. But I'm gonna recommend the motor. Now, of course, the capacitor is just a simple $130 call, and whereas to change the indoor blower, something in the $430, $440 range, depending on what motor it is. It's a little small 2-ton air handler. So anyway, let's go ahead and I'll tell you what, rather than undo those wire nuts again, I'm just going to grab this black off the sequencer and go over here and touch it to the other side. Try not to get shocked in the process. Well, might do a little good to put the disconnect back in first. That might help. Okay, so I'm going to take this black fan wire and go straight over here. And it actually is bringing it on. So what we'll do is we'll wire it back up and fire it up and turn the unit on and take some readings, see what kind of amperage it's drawing. If it's possible to save them from buying a motor right here today for a little while, we will. I'm going to offer and recommend that we go ahead and change the motor, but of course everybody is always driven by the same thing. How much is this? How much is that? What are the chances? What's going to happen, etc. So we're going to start this thing back up and See what kind of amp draws we got. Alright, she came on. Expected that to be around 1.2 to 1.3. It's actually 1.4 amps. Not too terribly bad. I haven't heard the strips come in that yet. Power. Obviously that's the side feeder. Transformer and everything is motor sounds okay. I'm going to go ahead and recommend that we replace this fan motor. Of course, they may be able to try to push it apart. Waiting to see now for strips going on. That's what down here. Take a look at the thermostat. It should be far enough behind. It's cold up here. It's top floor. Definitely colder than the bottom. I haven't seen the heat strips yet. The condenser, so we probably got a 5-minute delay going on right now on everything other than the fan. Let's go take a look at the thermostat. Alright. Maybe it's actually not calling for strips yet. I believe that one little flame just means heat mode. And it may not display auxiliary. So let's go back up in the attic and see if we get heat strips. Hopefully this guy don't come start following me around again. Anytime you got a customer that leads you to the attic door and walks away, you know you're in good shape. But when you got one that goes to the attic door, pulls it down for you, walks up the ladder first, and says, "I'm gonna cut the light on for you," you know what you got at that point. So I don't know if our outdoor unit is in delay. I'm going to assume it is. And hopefully there's not a problem with it coming on. So let's just wait this out a minute and see what happens. And we'll go from there. Alright, we do have the condenser on. The coil's starting to get warm. Look, the hot gas line here is getting warm, and so we know it's running. Still no heat strips, so at this point we have it back up and running. We're going to talk to the customer and find out how far he wants to go. In my opinion, I believe this is 2001 unit, so in my opinion it's time for replacement here. This is a generic product, Goodman in here anyway. We haven't been outside yet, so we're looking at what, 16 going on 17 years soon. So I'm going to talk to the customer at this point and find out how much more work he wants to do. For whatever reason, we have no heat strips, but it is back up and running. And of course, how much is this, how much is that was the main concern here. Some customers I would just keep right going no matter what, but this was definitely one we need to offer some options to. So let's close this thing back up and see what they want to do. Alright, so what I decided to do in this case is go ahead and put the door back on, get it back to putting heat in the house. We do not have heat strips. They appear to be open. We've got voltage but yet no amp draw, and so it's rare on a Goodman. Normally, you know, the high limit is visible inside the cavity there. Normally there's not, you know, like a train with a component or a resistor or a high limit on the inside that can burn, but it appears to be open. But I didn't completely unhook it and test it. I just see that we have signal to the wires. We do have voltage, but we have no heat and no amp draw. And then looks like that's probably been off there from day one without any armor flex on the suction line. You can see the watermarks on the platform. There's no P-trap. This is on the drains on the negative side. You know, the coil is in the return side of the air handler, so that should have a P-trap to serve as an airlock, and there's not one. So I doubt it. I doubt it has one down the line here anywhere. But I would suggest changing out the system at this time, just based on age and brand and performance, etc. But if they want to work on it, we'll work on it. We'll do what we're hired to do. So we'll add these couple of things to the outside here, and we'll get the heat strips working and service the outside unit if that's what they want to do. So let's go talk to the customer.